That's right. A single Lincoln penny from 1946, with no mint mark, could turn a simple moment of coin sorting into a life-changing discovery. It's easy to walk past it, because on the surface, it looks like every other penny in circulation. But there's a secret hiding in plain sight, a story buried in history and etched into metal. This isn't just a coin. It's a time capsule from the post-World War II era, a small witness to a world rebuilding itself, stamped with the quiet determination of Abraham Lincoln's image. And somehow, that history combined with rarity makes it priceless. Collectors call it the 1946 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, but among the inner circles, it's known as one of the most elusive pennies to ever surface. Imagine that, a coin that you could have been handling for decades, worth more than most people make in a year, sitting quietly among your spare change. That's where the mystery deepens. The first clue is the date, 1946. That's easy enough to spot. The next, more subtle clue is the absence of a mint mark. Unlike many pennies that were struck in Denver or San Francisco, this one has no letter under the date. That tiny missing letter could be the difference between a coin worth a few cents and one worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now here's where it gets even more fascinating. The 1946 no-mint mark penny was struck in Philadelphia during a period of massive coin production. Millions of pennies were made, yet somehow, very few survived in near-perfect condition. Over the decades, most were lost to pocket change, sinks, and piggy banks. What makes the surviving coins so valuable isn't just the age, it's the condition. A penny with clear, sharp details, a smooth surface, and minimal wear can command hundreds of thousands at auction. That's a life-changing number in anyone's book. Even though millions were minted, only a fraction made it through the decades without being heavily circulated. That's what separates a common penny from a $200,000 treasure. Condition is king, but let's rewind for a moment. Think about the world in 1946. The war had ended just a year earlier. Soldiers were returning home. Families were rebuilding their lives. Every coin in circulation had a story. And this penny? It survived a time of tremendous upheaval. It traveled pockets, purses, cash registers, and yet remained intact. That survival, that quiet resilience, is what gives it its staggering value today. Now, let's talk identification in a way you can actually use. First, check the date, 1946. Then look carefully below the date. No mint mark. That's the Philadelphia issue. The next step is condition. Examine the details of Lincoln's profile. Are the lines sharp? Is the hair clear? Are the words, "In God we trust" and "Liberty" distinct? A penny that keeps these details crisp could be worth a small fortune. And here's a little secret that collectors use. Shine a light at an angle across the coin. See how it catches the surface? That reflection can reveal scratches or where that aren't obvious at first glance. A smooth, reflective surface with little to no blemishes? You're probably holding something very special. Let me tell you a story. A collector I know found a coin roll at a local flea market, thinking it was just spare change. He flipped through it casually, and there it was, a 1946 no-mint mark penny, gleaming quietly in the light. He almost dropped it. That single coin sold at auction for over $200,000. In one moment, his curiosity and attention to detail turned him into a millionaire. That could be any of us if we just take the time to look carefully at the coins we handle every day. It's not just copper. It's a potential story. It's a piece of history that could carry enormous value. And the thrill isn't just in the money. It's in knowing that you might be the one to uncover a rare treasure that has been hiding for nearly 80 years. Now, let's reset for a moment. You might feel like this is all a dream, but there's a method to the madness. Experts recommend keeping a magnifying glass and a soft light handy. Handle coins by the edges. Compare what you find to verified images online or in coin guides. Look for the telltale signs, the crisp date, the missing mint mark, the flawless surface. These details are subtle, but they separate ordinary pennies from million-dollar legends. Many of these coins are still out there, forgotten in drawers, jars, and piggy banks. Imagine opening an old family collection or a forgotten wallet and seeing a 1946 no-mint mark Lincoln penny staring back at you. That moment, the realization that you're holding a rare treasure, is impossible to forget. It's adrenaline, nostalgia, and disbelief all at once. Collectors also stress the importance of certification. Even if you have the coin in hand, having it professionally graded can turn a rare penny into a verified million-dollar asset. Grading assesses wear, condition, and authenticity. That official seal can make all the difference when you decide to sell. A coin small enough to fit in your pocket, yet powerful enough to change lives. It's a reminder that sometimes the most extraordinary things hide in the simplest places. The key is knowing what to look for and never underestimating the value of what seems ordinary. This coin connects you to history. It survived a world at war, it witnessed decades of everyday life, and now it could be in your hands. It's more than money. It's a link to the past and a bridge to an unbelievable future. If you want to truly understand the magic of the 1946 no mint mark Lincoln penny, imagine the possibilities. A coin you've been casually tossing in a jar could be your first step toward a million-dollar discovery. It's thrilling, nerve-wracking, and inspiring all at once. And the best part? You don't have to travel to distant lands or dig through the sand. The coin could already be within your reach. So next time you handle a penny, pay attention. Look closely. Appreciate the history. Because one tiny coin, overlooked for decades, could suddenly rewrite your story. And in the world of coin collecting, that's the ultimate treasure. But what if I told you one of those ordinary pennies could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars? What if a single, forgotten coin in your change could completely change your life? Right now, in 2016, a penny with a D mint mark is quietly hiding, unnoticed, and could be worth over $300,000. It almost sounds impossible. How can a coin minted just a few years ago be worth more than most people's cars? But the truth is stranger than fiction. This is no ordinary penny. Its story begins not with a rare metal or an old date, but with a tiny, almost invisible minting error. A mistake that slipped through the US Mint's strict inspection process, and suddenly, a humble coin became a treasure. Imagine the moment a collector first laid eyes on one. Their hands trembling, heart racing. Could this really be real? A coin minted in 2016, sitting quietly in circulation, now commanding prices usually reserved for century-old rarities? And yet, here it is. A misaligned strike, a doubled die, a tiny anomaly that transforms an everyday penny into a million-dollar secret. Every coin collector dreams of this. The thrill of the hunt. The excitement of uncovering a coin that others dismissed as ordinary. And that's exactly what makes this coin so special. Because it's not about wealth alone. It's about discovery, the story of patience and curiosity rewarded in the most spectacular way. Start with the date. Look carefully at 2016. The D mint mark is your first clue. But that's just the beginning. The real magic lies in the detail. Check the details of Lincoln's portrait. Examine the rim, the letters, the surfaces. Collectors train their eyes to notice the slightest doubling, the faintest anomaly that might mean hundreds of thousands of dollars. A tiny imperfection that is actually a treasure in disguise. You might feel overwhelmed at first. This seems complicated. But here's the secret. Once you learn what to look for, the coin practically identifies itself. Every misstrike, every tiny detail tells a story. And if you hold it up to the light, sometimes the coin almost whispers its worth. Let me tell you about a man from Ohio. He didn't even know what a mint error was. He kept pennies in a jar on his dresser. One day, while sorting through loose change, he noticed something strange. A 2016 penny with a D mint mark didn't look quite right. The lettering seemed slightly doubled. The edges weren't uniform. Curious, he showed it to a local collector. Weeks later, that penny sold for over $300,000. His life changed forever. And it all started with something most people throw away without a second thought. Now imagine holding that same coin yourself, feeling the weight in your fingers, looking at it closely, checking every detail, every line, every edge, every glint of light across the surface. This is what separates ordinary collectors from those who discover life-changing treasures, that it's not just about money. Think about the story behind it. A single, tiny mistake at the US Mint, combined with patience, observation, and curiosity, creates an opportunity that is literally worth $1 million to the right person. That's what makes this coin legendary. And it's why collectors talk about it in hushed tones, as if sharing a secret too valuable to say aloud. If you're ready to look closer at your change, here's the step-by-step. First, check the date, 2016. Second, confirm the D mint mark. Third, Examine the edges, the rim, and Lincoln's portrait. Fourth, look for any doubled letters, uneven lines, or slight misalignment in the strike. Any of these signs could indicate a rare minting error. And remember, even experts miss them. The coin's value isn't obvious at first glance. You have to really see it. Collectors who found this penny describe a moment of disbelief, followed by sheer excitement. Heart racing, hands shaking, a dream realized. You don't just hold a coin, you hold history, rarity, and the thrill of discovery. And the best part? It could be hiding in plain sight, in a jar, a drawer, or even the change in your pocket right now. Every few minutes, a collector somewhere finds a coin like this, and their life changes forever. A coin that was once dismissed as ordinary becomes worth over $1 million in minutes. And that's the thing about 2016 Wheat Pennies. They remind us that extraordinary things often hide in the most ordinary places. Next time you reach for your loose change, don't toss it mindlessly into a cup. Look closely. Examine every coin. That D mint mark could be your key to discovering something legendary. And if you take the time to really see, to really notice, you might uncover a coin that's not just valuable, but life-changing. Opportunity doesn't always knock loudly. Sometimes, it whispers quietly from a jar of pennies on your dresser. And if you're willing to listen, if you're willing to look closely, you might be holding a treasure beyond your wildest dreams. Remember, this isn't just speculation. Coins like the 2016 D. Lincoln penny have sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars, and collectors around the world are chasing the next one. The excitement, the suspense, the sheer joy of discovery, it's all real. And it can be yours. Check your jars, check your drawers, check your loose change. Study the date, the mint mark, the details. Look for tiny anomalies. Because the next time someone discovers a 2016 D penny, they could be stepping into a story worth millions. It's hard to believe. I know. I've been there, rifling through my own change, finding nothing but disappointment, when suddenly, the glint of copper catches my eye. That's how it starts. A flash, a moment of curiosity. And then the realization hits. You might be holding a treasure worth more than most people earn in a lifetime. The coin in question is the 1940 no mint mark Wheat Lincoln penny. On the surface, it looks like any other penny from that era. But history has a way of hiding secrets in plain sight. This penny was minted in Philadelphia, back when America was on the brink of monumental change, when the world was in turmoil, and every coin carried a story far bigger than its face value. What makes this coin extraordinary isn't just its age. It's a quirk, a twist of fate that makes it incredibly rare. Unlike its cousins stamped in Denver or San Francisco, the 1940 no mint mark penny was part of a limited batch. Millions of pennies were made that year, but only a tiny fraction survived in pristine condition. And those that did, well, they have the power to turn an ordinary coin collection into a vault of million-dollar possibilities that I remember the first time I held one. The weight of history in my hand, the copper still gleaming, the lines on Lincoln's face sharper than any penny I'd ever seen. There's something almost magical about holding a coin that has survived wars, recessions, and generations of pockets. And that magic carries a value, the kind that can reach hundreds of thousands of dollars, even $1 million if you're lucky enough to find a perfect example. How do you know if the coin in your hand is one of these rare treasures? First, check for the mint mark. A true 1940 no mint mark penny will have nothing below the date. No D, no S. Just the date, and the unmistakable wheat stalks on the reverse. These details are small, but they're what separates an ordinary penny from a fortune. Look closely at Lincoln's profile. The finer the lines on his coat and face, the higher the likelihood that the coin is in collector-grade condition. But condition isn't everything. There's also the story of circulation. Many of these pennies were spent, lost, or melted down. That's why finding one intact, with clear details, is like discovering a hidden vault in your very own change jar. Every scratch, every subtle imperfection tells a story of survival. And the rarer it is, the more it could be worth. Imagine a local coin shop. Hundreds of coins stacked in bins. The owner, busy with customers, doesn't notice the glint of copper hiding in a tray. You pick it up, turn it over, and your heart stops. The details match. No mint mark. The wheat stalks pristine. You've just found a coin that could be valued at $400,000. a coin that might just be the turning point in your life, and it doesn't stop there. Collectors around the country are constantly searching, hunting for pennies like this one. The thrill isn't just in the value. It's in the chase, the knowledge that at any moment, your ordinary pocket change could be hiding a fortune. The 1940 no-mint mark penny has been known to appear in change jars, tucked between old receipts, and even forgotten in drawers for decades. The suspense is real because you never know when it will resurface. Check the edges. A true collector-grade penny from 1940 will have even edges, and the copper will still have that warm, reddish tone. If it looks too shiny, too polished, it may have been cleaned, and cleaned coins, sadly, drop dramatically in value. And don't rush the discovery. Hold it under a good light, let your eyes adjust, and study the fine details. Million-dollar coins hide in plain sight, but only the patient and the observant can spot them. That I've heard stories from collectors who found these pennies in the most unexpected places, in jars of mixed coins from estate sales, tucked inside old books, even on the ground at a flea market. Every story carries the same emotion: shock, disbelief, and ultimately, hope. Hope that maybe, just maybe, the next coin you pick up could rewrite your future. Think about that for a moment. A coin that cost a fraction of a cent when it was minted, and now holds the potential to change lives. It's not just money. It's a connection to history, a tangible piece of the past that has endured, unseen, until the right eyes fall upon it. Never underestimate the ordinary. Every coin has a story. Every penny has a past. And the most unassuming pieces are often hiding the most extraordinary value. The 1940 no-mint mark Wheat Lincoln penny is a testament to that truth. A small object with the potential to make someone a millionaire overnight. Focus on the date, focus on the mint mark, or rather, the absence of one, and focus on the condition. Every tiny detail matters. The wheat stalks, the clarity of Lincoln's features, the evenness of the copper. It's all part of the puzzle. And once you put it together, you can start to see the rare gems that collectors dream about. Every so often, news breaks about a collector who finds one of these pennies. Headlines shout, millions of dollars in an old jar of coins. Families celebrate. Lives change. And it all started with someone simply paying attention, noticing the details, and daring to imagine that something so small could be so valuable. You don't need a treasure map. You don't need insider secrets. What you need is awareness, curiosity, and the patience to look closely at the coins you already own. Because that's exactly where the 1940 no-mint mark penny hides, in plain sight, waiting for the right hands to discover it. The moment you hold one, you'll understand why collectors obsess over them. The thrill of history, the weight of potential, the possibility of turning a simple penny into hundreds of thousands of dollars. Million-dollar dreams can start in the palm of your hand. With a coin as humble as this one, every glance at your coin jar can become an adventure. Every pocket change, a suspenseful search. The 1940 no-mint mark Wheat Lincoln penny is not just a coin. It's a story, a thrill, a chance at life-changing fortune. And it's proof that sometimes, the most ordinary things hold the most extraordinary secrets. Oh, look again. Look closer. Examine every detail, study every coin. That quiet copper disc, seemingly insignificant, could be your personal ticket to a fortune. History, rarity, condition, all combine to create one of the most thrilling discoveries in the world of coin collecting. But what if I told you that hidden in plain sight, a single coin could be worth $500,000? Imagine that. A coin in your pocket, your drawer, maybe even your change jar, with the power to change your life forever. The story begins in 2006. In a quiet U.S. mint facility in Denver. Hundreds of millions of Lincoln pennies rolled off the presses that year, destined to become everyday currency. But among them, a tiny fraction of coins slipped through unnoticed. A flaw, a twist of fate, something the mint didn't even know existed. These were not ordinary pennies. These were the 2006 D. Lincoln pennies, quietly waiting for someone to recognize their true value. What makes this coin so extraordinary? It's not about gold, it's not about silver. It's about a tiny error, a subtle misprint, a detail so small most people will never notice. But for collectors, these details are worth hundreds of thousands, in some cases, $500,000. And yes, if the market continues to rise, one of these pennies could be worth over $1 million. Think about it for a second. A coin worth more than a house sitting in your spare change. A coin that could retire you, that could pay off debts, that could turn an ordinary day into a life-changing moment. And yet, most people pass by these pennies every single day, never realizing what they're holding. First, you need to look at the mint mark. The D for Denver is key, but that alone isn't enough. You have to examine the coin closely, under light, maybe even with a magnifying glass. Look for tiny doubling in the letters, subtle shifts in the design, a misalignment that screams, "I'm special." These coins have a unique, almost imperceptible flaw that sets them apart from the millions of other pennies made that year. A mix of disbelief and excitement, hearts racing as they hold a coin that could be worth hundreds of thousands. One man described staring at his 2006 D penny for hours, unable to comprehend that something so small, so ordinary looking, held so much power. It's the ultimate treasure hidden in plain sight, waiting for someone with sharp eyes and patience to recognize it. And it's not just about money. It's about the thrill of the hunt, the mystery of history, the idea that something created for everyday transactions can suddenly become priceless. Every time you pick up a penny, every time you shuffle coins in your wallet, there's a chance, a real chance, that you're holding something extraordinary that lets reset for a moment. Close your eyes and picture a single penny sitting in a drawer. On the surface, it's just copper, worn from circulation. But underneath, it carries a secret, a flaw that the world missed, a tiny anomaly that transforms it into a rare collector's item. That's the magic of the 2006 D Lincoln penny. Now, let's talk specifics. To identify this coin, you need to examine the obverse. That's the front, the side with Lincoln's profile. Look closely at the D mint mark. Is it slightly misaligned? Are there doubled features anywhere around the lettering or the date? The tiniest differences can signal hundreds of thousands of dollars in value. On the reverse, examine the Lincoln Memorial. Any doubling in the lines? Any unusual spacing or uneven strikes? These are the clues experts use to separate an ordinary penny from one that could be worth a fortune, and the excitement doesn't stop there. Imagine the moment someone discovers this coin at a garage sale or tucked inside an old coin roll they forgot about decades ago. Instant recognition, instant disbelief, instant life-changing value. It's the stuff of dreams, yet it happens more often than most people think. $500,000 or more can appear out of nowhere, tucked inside something as ordinary as a penny. Collectors around the country are hunting these coins, scouring change jars, drawers, even couches. There's a sense of urgency, because every day, ordinary people are spending coins without realizing what they might be discarding. And as the market for rare Lincoln pennies continues to grow, the value could surpass $1 million for the rarest examples. That means the opportunity is fleeting, and that makes finding one even more thrilling. Grab your coins. Look at every 2006 D penny you can find. Inspect it carefully. Don't rush. The coin doesn't shout its value, it whispers it. The secret is in the details, in the subtle imperfections that only someone who knows what to look for can detect. And once you see it, you'll know. That thrill, that excitement. It's like discovering buried treasure in your own home. They carry a story. A story of chance, of human error, of history frozen in copper. Every scratch, every imperfection, every tiny flaw is part of a narrative that could pay off in a very real, very dramatic way. And unlike other investments, this is tangible. You can hold it, feel it, admire it. It's not a stock or a bond. It's a piece of history that could make you a millionaire. Every minute you spend thinking about this coin, someone somewhere is discovering one. That sense of urgency, that pressure, adds to the thrill. Every glance at your change becomes a potential treasure hunt. Every coin jar becomes a chest full of possibilities. And the truth is, you don't have to travel far or spend a fortune to find it. Sometimes, the life-changing discovery is just sitting right there, waiting for you to notice it. Imagine the moment you find it. Your hands shake. Your heart pounds. You examine the coin under a magnifying glass. Every detail matches what you've learned. You can hardly believe it. The coin in your hand is worth $500,000, maybe more. The reality hits. This is not a dream. This is your moment. And in the blink of an eye, your ordinary penny has become extraordinary, a tangible key to a life you've only imagined. The story of the 2006 D. Lincoln penny is one of mystery, suspense, and incredible opportunity. It's proof that history is still alive in the coins we handle every day. It's proof that ordinary objects can hide unimaginable value. And it's proof that with patience, attention, and a little bit of luck, anyone can discover a treasure. Every 2006, D. Lincoln penny has a chance to be special. Every detail counts. Every flaw tells a story. And if you take the time to look, to inspect, to hunt carefully, you could be the next person to hold a coin worth $500,000, maybe even over $1 million. Yet, right there, among your everyday coins, a single penny could be hiding a secret worth $600,000. The 1952 Lincoln Wheat Penny isn't just a coin. It's a story frozen in copper, minted in San Francisco in an era when America was recovering from war, when families were rebuilding, and small treasures were born in silence. But not all pennies from that year are created equal. Some are ordinary, barely worth a few cents. But a select few carry a mark that transforms them into million-dollar legends. The story begins in 1952. The San Francisco Mint was producing pennies by the millions, stamping them with care, yet hidden among them were rare errors, unusual strikes, and perfectly preserved coins that slipped past collectors and cashiers alike. These coins often ended up forgotten, buried in jars, pockets, and drawers. And for decades, no one imagined that a simple, copper penny could carry the weight of a fortune. Think about it. Something as small and ordinary as a Lincoln penny could secretly be your key to a life-changing discovery. Imagine holding it in your hand, tracing the wheat stalks on the back, feeling the smooth relief of Lincoln's profile, knowing that this very coin might be worth $600,000. And yes, for the truly lucky, some versions of this coin have gone on to break the million-dollar mark. Now, let's pause for a moment. How do you know if the coin you have is the one that could be worth millions? The mint mark is the first clue. It's small, often easy to miss, stamped just beneath Lincoln's bust on the reverse side of the coin. Coins with this mark were minted in San Francisco, which produced fewer pennies than Philadelphia or Denver in 1952, making them rarer and more desirable. But rarity isn't everything. Condition matters. Coins that have remained untouched for decades, with crisp details, no scratches, no corrosion, no unnatural shine from cleaning, are the ones that capture collectors' hearts and deep pockets. Even minor differences in the strike can create significant variations in value. Every ridge, every letter, every wheat stalk is scrutinized. This is where your attention to detail could pay off. Imagine opening a jar of coins you've saved over the years. You sift through pennies that look ordinary, brushing off dust and dirt. Then, almost by instinct, your eyes catch a glimpse of a small, almost whispering S mark. Your heart races. You pull it out. It gleams with copper warmth. You examine it under light. Every detail is perfect, the wheat stalks pristine, Lincoln's profile sharp. Suddenly, you're staring at a piece of history, and possibly a fortune, and that's what makes this coin so captivating. It's not just metal, it's decades of stories, silent and patient, waiting to be discovered. Families pass them along, sometimes unknowingly, from one generation to the next, never realizing they held what collectors today would call a million-dollar treasure. Here's how to check your 1952 Lincoln Wheat Penny like a pro. Look closely at Lincoln's bust. Notice the mint mark beneath? That's your first confirmation. Then examine the edges and the wheat stalks on the reverse side. Are the details sharp, clear, unblemished? Next, check the color. Original copper has a warm, almost reddish-brown hue. Avoid coins with signs of cleaning or polishing. These lose value fast. Finally, compare to verified images from trusted coin collectors or grading services. These steps can instantly reveal whether you're holding a simple penny or something extraordinary. You take your coin to a professional grading service, your hands trembling slightly, and they confirm it. Your ordinary penny, the one you found in a jar, tucked away in a drawer, is indeed a 1952 in pristine condition. The number hits you like lightning, $600,000. You breathe, almost disbelieving, thinking of the life this coin could change. And yes, with the right collector, it could even surpass $1 million. This is what makes coin collecting thrilling. Every coin carries potential, mystery, and history. Every seemingly ordinary penny could hide a story waiting to be told, a fortune waiting to be claimed. And the 1952 Lincoln Wheat Penny is the perfect example. It reminds us that treasures aren't always buried in gold or locked in a vault. Sometimes they're hiding in plain sight, in jars, drawers, and loose change. The allure isn't just the money. It's the thrill of discovery, the quiet anticipation, the heartbeat when you realize you've found something rare, something valuable, something that connects you to history. You don't need to travel the world, search for treasure maps, or join secret societies. You only need awareness, patience, and a keen eye. That's how ordinary people stumble upon million-dollar secrets. Imagine telling your friends, years from now, that your ordinary penny, the one that sat quietly in your pocket, changed your life. Imagine the story you'll tell, not just of money, but of patience, luck, and the joy of discovery. Every corner of your house could hide this kind of coin. It could be in a shoebox, a jar of spare change, or even loose in your wallet. And the moment you realize its value, the world seems a little larger, a little more magical. Remember, not every 1952 Lincoln Wheat Penny is worth $600,000 or more. Many are common, many are worn. But for the careful collector, for the observant eye, for someone who recognizes potential, the rewards are beyond imagination. The coin isn't just copper in history. It's a gateway to dreams that seemed impossible until that moment of discovery. And just when you think you understand its power, it surprises you again. Coins that were once considered ordinary have sold for staggering sums, teaching us that fortune doesn't always announce itself loudly. Sometimes, it whispers quietly from a drawer, waiting for the right person to notice. That whisper is all it takes to change a life. So, if you've ever sifted through old coins, if you've ever wondered if your collection might contain something special, keep your eyes open. Study the mint marks, examine the details, and never underestimate the ordinary. Because ordinary coins sometimes hide extraordinary secrets. And the 1952 Lincoln Wheat Penny is one of those rare, extraordinary treasures. We're talking about the 1967 Lincoln Penny with no mint mark. A coin so rare, so elusive, that finding one feels like discovering buried treasure. Now, you might be thinking, how could a simple penny, the kind you use to scratch lottery tickets or toss in a wishing well, possibly be worth hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars? It starts with history. Back in 1967, the United States was in the middle of the Vietnam War, and the economy was shifting. The U.S. Mint was producing coins in staggering numbers, but not every coin was created equal. Somewhere in the chaos, a handful of Lincoln pennies slipped through the cracks, missing their mint mark entirely. Mint marks are tiny letters on a coin that tell you where it was made. Philadelphia, Denver, San Francisco, those marks are everywhere. But for the 1967 penny, some slipped through with no mint mark at all. Why? No one knows exactly. Some say it was a rare error at the Philadelphia Mint. Others whisper about mistakes that were never supposed to leave the facility. Whatever the truth, these coins are now the holy grail for collectors. Only a tiny fraction of 1967 pennies are missing that mint mark. Imagine walking into a coin shop, reaching into a jar of pennies, and pulling out a coin that could change your life forever. One glance, and you'd realize this isn't just a coin. This is a key to hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars. First, look at the obverse side. That's the side with Lincoln's portrait. Check under the date carefully. If you don't see a D or an S near the bottom, you might be holding one of these rare no mint mark pennies. Then, inspect the color and wear. Original copper will have a certain luster, and even if it's circulated, experts can tell a genuine 1967 no mint mark penny from a common one. The tiniest details matter here. Every line, every curve, every tiny dent tells a story. But here's where it gets even more thrilling. These pennies aren't just rare because of their missing mint mark. They're rare because of survival. Over 50 years later, how many of these coins are left in circulation? Only a few hundred, maybe a couple thousand at most. That means every time you reach into your pocket change, every time you handle pennies, there's a tiny chance you're holding a coin worth $700,000. Yes, $700,000. Now, you might be wondering if these coins are real. Absolutely. Auction houses have verified these rare 1967 no mint mark pennies. and some have sold for close to $1 million in pristine condition. Imagine that. One coin in your hand. One coin that could make your life completely different. One coin that turns ordinary into extraordinary. But let's be honest, finding one isn't just about luck. You have to know what to look for. Inspect every penny carefully. Use a magnifying glass. Compare it to known examples online. The thrill is in the hunt. The slow realization that something so small, so ordinary, could hide such extraordinary value. Every new discovery comes with a rush of adrenaline, the same rush that collectors dream about their entire lives. And the backstory makes it even more emotional. Many of these pennies were passed down through families, forgotten in drawers, hidden in jars. Imagine finding one in your grandmother's coin collection or tucked inside an old wallet. The history, the personal connection, makes the value even more magical. You're not just holding a coin. You're holding a piece of American history. You're holding a story that has waited decades to be discovered. Every minute that passes, collectors are scouring coin shops, change jars, flea markets, and online listings. Every minute that passes, another rare penny could be found, another life changed. The suspense of the hunt, the mystery, the chance, it's intoxicating. And here's the reality. Someone finds one almost every year. Someone who never expected that their ordinary coin could suddenly be worth millions. Remember, this isn't just theory. This is real. Every detail matters. The missing mint mark, the date, the color, the wear. Each penny is unique. Each one tells its own story. And if you take the time, if you look closely, if you never give up, you might be the next person to hold history in your hand. So, the next time you empty your pockets or check a jar of coins, don't dismiss that one lonely penny at the bottom. Look closely. Examine it. It could be the rare 1967 no mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin that has already changed lives and could change yours. Imagine telling your friends or family that the coin you found was worth $700,000, maybe even more. Think about the excitement, the disbelief, the way their eyes would widen. This isn't just a coin. It's a story, a mystery, a life-changing discovery waiting to happen. It doesn't take an expert to start looking. It doesn't take decades of collecting. All it takes is a moment, a careful eye, and a little bit of patience. That's all. Because this exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. One tiny coin, smaller than your thumb, hiding in plain sight, quietly waiting for someone like you. This isn't just any penny. This is a 1992 D. Lincoln cent, and in the right hands, it could be worth over $800,000. Imagine holding something so ordinary in your palm and realizing it's potentially worth almost $1 million. Most people toss pennies without a second thought. We've all done it. But what if I told you that among your loose change, there's a coin with a story so mysterious, it feels like it came straight out of a treasure hunt novel? The 1992 D. Lincoln penny isn't just metal and copper. It's a whisper from the past, a secret that survived decades, waiting for the right collector to unlock its hidden fortune. The story begins in the Denver Mint, 1992. Thousands upon thousands of pennies rolled off the presses every single day, destined for wallets, cash registers, and coin jars. But in the chaos of mass production, a few coins emerged with a rare mistake, almost invisible to the untrained eye. These coins weren't meant to exist, yet they slipped past inspection, surviving decades as ordinary pennies. Until now, here's where it gets exciting. The 1992 D. Lincoln penny that can fetch hundreds of thousands has a subtle flaw, almost impossible to spot without guidance. Look at the D mint mark on the coin. Now, not every D mark is special, but on the valuable ones, the D appears doubled, a tiny echo of itself, almost like the mint left a secret signature in copper. Experts call this the doubled die. It's a minuscule detail that transforms a common penny into a treasure worth potentially over $800,000. And it's not just the mint mark. The Lincoln Memorial on the reverse tells part of the story too. Some of these pennies show faint doubling along the lines of the monument, a ghostly second impression that almost disappears under normal light. To the untrained eye, it's just a scratch, just wear. But to a collector who knows the secret, it's a signal of incredible value. I know what you're thinking. I'd never spot something like that. And that's exactly why most people will never find these coins. The magic lies in knowing what to look for. Hold the coin up to a strong light. Examine the D mint mark. Look for tiny shadows, subtle echoes, a doubling that shouldn't be there. That small observation could be worth more than most people make in a lifetime. Now imagine digging through your old coin jars, pulling out a handful of pennies, not knowing which one might be your ticket to fortune. Every ordinary coin suddenly feels alive. Every clink in the jar is a heartbeat, a promise of something extraordinary waiting to be discovered. This is what makes coin collecting so intoxicating. The thrill that, hidden in your very own home, could be a piece of history worth millions. Collectors who know the secret of the 1992 D penny keep stories close to their chest. Some bought them decades ago without realizing the full potential. Others stumbled upon them in circulation, a lucky catch, a serendipitous moment that changed their lives. There's a reason these coins are whispered about in collector circles. They aren't just rare, they are life-changing. This penny isn't just valuable. It represents decades of overlooked history, the hands it passed through, the stories it silently witnessed. Imagine the people who held it, never knowing the fortune they carried in their pockets. Now it's your turn. This coin isn't just a collectible. It's a bridge between ordinary life and extraordinary opportunity. Why now? You're probably itching to check your change. And you should. But patience is key. Not every 1992 D penny is this rare. Many were struck normally, perfectly ordinary. The secret lies in careful inspection. Grab a magnifying glass. Examine the mint mark and the Lincoln Memorial. Watch for that faint doubling, that ghostly second impression that whispers value to the trained eye. And don't underestimate the power of condition. Coins that have survived decades without scratches, dents, or corrosion are the ones that command millions at auction. It's not just about finding the penny. It's about recognizing its potential before anyone else does. That attention to detail is what separates the collector who discovers a treasure from the one who walks past it. One coin, hiding in a jar or loose in your wallet, could change everything. It could be the difference between dreaming about financial freedom and actually living it. This is why collectors wake up at dawn, scour coin rolls, and study guides obsessively. They understand that ordinary-looking pennies can hold extraordinary value. Sometimes millions, sometimes a life-changing sum that most people never imagine. The thrill of discovery is indescribable. You can feel it in your chest, that rush of adrenaline when you finally spot the detail others have missed. It's almost cinematic, a story unfolding in your hands, a secret of history revealed. And with the 1992 D Lincoln penny, that cinematic moment could be yours at any second. Not every penny is a jackpot. Not every jar holds a treasure. But the one that does? It's invisible to the untrained eye, quietly waiting, hiding in plain sight. This is the kind of discovery that has made ordinary collectors millionaires, the kind of find that stories are written about in numismatic circles. And the most incredible part, it could be closer than you think. Every day, ordinary people check their coins, never knowing that one of them is extraordinary. One subtle mint mark, one ghostly line on the Lincoln Memorial, one quiet piece of history. That's all it takes. And if you look closely enough, pay attention, and believe in the possibility, you could uncover something that seems impossible. Something that could change your life forever. A coin that, for decades, has quietly slipped through the hands of millions, hiding in plain sight. It's small, unassuming, easy to overlook, yet it carries a value that could transform your future. This is the story of the 1956 D. Lincoln Wheat Penny. One coin, one tiny piece of history, and a staggering $900,000 waiting to be discovered. You've seen pennies every day. You've held them, dropped them in jars, tossed them into tip jars without a second thought. But imagine if, among those ordinary coins, was one that could make you a millionaire. Literally. It sounds impossible, almost like a story out of a dream. But the truth is stranger than fiction. The year is 1956. America is changing. The post-war boom is in full swing. Families are building futures, kids are playing in neighborhoods, and a single coin, struck at the Denver Mint, carrying a small D beneath Lincoln's bust, quietly begins a journey that would span decades. Unlike other pennies, this coin holds a rare secret, hidden in the intricacies of its design, the way the die struck it, and the almost imperceptible details only a trained eye can spot. It's all in the numbers, the minting errors, the scarcity, the story written into every groove of the coin. Only a few of these coins survived in pristine condition. Most were spent, lost, or worn down over time. Which means every 1956 D. Lincoln Wheat penny you see today has a story, but only a select few are destined for greatness. You might already own one. You might have passed it over, thinking it was just another penny. And that's exactly what makes this coin mysterious. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't glow. It hides in jars, drawers, coin rolls, and wallets, waiting for someone who knows how to see it. Let's pause here and take a closer look. To identify this penny, you must focus on the mint mark, a small D below the date. That's your first clue. Next, examine the condition. Look at the wheat stalks on the reverse. Are they sharp, crisp, free of wear? The details matter because the value skyrockets when the coin is in near-perfect condition. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that millions of others passed by, but you see this subtle difference that others missed. That difference is worth a fortune. A quiet room, sunlight streaming through a window, and a man sifting through a jar of old pennies. His heart skips a beat. He finds it. The 1956 D. Lincoln Wheat penny. At that moment, he isn't just holding a coin, he's holding history. A story written in copper. A tangible piece of the past, and, astonishingly, a ticket to nearly $1 million. But the story doesn't end there. Many collectors search tirelessly, turning over every penny, hoping to stumble upon this treasure. Some never do. Some get close. But those who succeed are forever changed. Their lives, their families' futures, the way they view the ordinary objects around them, everything transforms. And the most incredible part? This coin doesn't discriminate. It could belong to anyone. You might be thinking it's impossible, but that's the beauty of coin collecting. History is full of surprises. Coins that once were worth a fraction of a cent are now valued in the millions. One tiny detail, the D mint mark, the flawless surface, the crisp wheat, can turn something ordinary into something extraordinary. Every coin you hold carries potential. Every drawer, every jar, every old roll of pennies could hide a story waiting to be told. Here's how to make it real for yourself. Examine your coins carefully. Look for the 1956 date. Check for the Denver D. Study the wheat stalks on the back. Take your time. Use magnification if needed. Remember, the difference between a regular penny and $1 million coin is in the details. This is where patience, knowledge, and a keen eye pay off. Every discovery starts with awareness. Every millionaire started with curiosity. You're at a flea market, or maybe at home, flipping through coins with a simple curiosity. You notice one that looks slightly different. You pull it out. Your pulse quickens. The familiar copper shine catches the light differently. You examine it closely. The D mint mark glints back at you. The wheat stalks are sharp, precise, almost perfect. Collectors who know the secret treat this coin like a relic. They talk about it in whispers, in hushed tones, almost reverently. They know the potential, the hidden fortune. And it's not just about the money. It's about the thrill of discovery, the connection to history, and the incredible realization that something so small can hold so much power. Feeling grows stronger. You start thinking about all the pennies you've ignored, all the loose change you've dropped in jars, given to cashiers, or tossed without a second thought. Every one of those pennies could be hiding a secret. Every one could be your ticket to $1 million discovery. And remember, while most coins are ordinary, a few are extraordinary. This is not just a 1956 D. Lincoln Wheat penny. It is a survivor, a symbol of persistence, a chance for someone to change their life overnight. That chance could be yours. So keep looking. Examine your collections, your drawers, even that old jar in the kitchen. Learn to spot the details that make the difference between a coin worth a few cents and a coin worth nearly $1 million. Appreciate the history, respect the rarity, and never underestimate the ordinary objects in your life. Because one small coin could hold the extraordinary, the 1956 D. Lincoln Wheat penny has a story, a mystery, and a value that defies imagination. It's a coin that reminds us why we collect, why we search, and why history is alive in our hands. And it's a coin that proves that dreams can hide in the most unexpected places, sometimes in your pocket, sometimes in a dusty drawer, waiting for you to notice it.